Hey guys, so happy Friday night. I'm here installing strapping in the van. The first one took me an hour and a half to figure out. Basically, my method, I have these sheet metal screws and I'm basically kind of counted this as a test piece, countersinking or just kind of drilling a hole so that the end doesn't stick out. And then I'm taking my DeWalt 20 volt max impact driver, hello, and pounding them in 3 places. Not sponsored by DeWalt, but DeWalt, if you want to send me some more tools or like a little stack of cash, I'd take some. But yeah, so I'm gonna go down all the way around now. I used 3/4 inch plywood. It's pretty strong. It's birch. Home Depot had it on sale. And I'm gonna do that all the way around. It's like shaking the whole van when I go like this. So I think it's a good choice. And I'll get back to you when we're farther along. It's a 10:30 Friday night, crazy Friday night. Honestly, the craziest Friday night I've had since the pandemic started. But as you can see, got all of the strapping done, except for one in the back corner there. I need to trim the plastic, like Mercedes trim piece right behind the front seat so that I can get the last one in. And then the only other space is kind of a big space here. And that's because I'm gonna build an inset box, kind of to have like a little bookshelf next to the bed that's in like a bump out type of thing. So that's gonna be another project for this weekend. But I'm kind of overbuilding it. The ribs are every like 10 inches or so, which is definitely more than I need, but I just used one sheet of 4x8 plywood and it worked well, and I thought, why not be sturdier if I can be? It is more weight, but it's really sturdy. The whole van is moving with it. So I'm happy. Got all those in there, and gonna clean up and call it a night. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm now coming at you live from the future. We had a 1-week break of filming. I felt like I needed to speed things up. So I finished the strapping up, put some insulation in, and got some 12 volt wires run along the roof for the puck lights. But now we're gonna jump into the next phase of the project, which would be the following weekend, installing the backup camera. It's been a while since I gave a progress update. I have put up the wiring for 12 volt puck lights and then also the max air fan. I'll kind of show what that looks like. So basically, it looks kind of messy, but each one of these loops is where a light will go. Putting 10 puck lights in, it's super overboard for this space, but I think I don't know, why not use it up? Why not? I got a pack of 10, I'm gonna use them all. And then I've been putting in more kill mat. My neighbor just finished converting a transit van, and he had some extra stuff, so he gave me extra kill mat. So I'm kind of going overboard with kill mat, but why not? But yeah, other than that, today I'm gonna try to get in the last of the big insulation, and then also put in a backup camera. Got a backup camera, just swaps out for the brake light. Might be ambitious. Got a late start today. It was hard to wake up on the Sunday, but there you go. First up, I'm basically, I don't know if I showed you this already, maybe I did. This is the kind of backup camera that I'm putting on. It doesn't come with the LED in it, so you have to take off this one and then swap it on. So just gotta take those screws out, pop it off, and then I'll show you kind of the LED swap process. It does take some prying. I use that tool to get it out. Pops off. That gasket's gonna have to all be cleaned off, but then it just looks like that. I'll pop the clip off and then I'll have that free. It's a little greasy because I ended up using some oil to remove some of that remaining gasket, but it's pretty smooth around there. Not perfect, but I'm gonna go with it. But now I will finally prep the LED to go back in there. You can kind of see what I had to do here. This is the old light, and to get it out, this was what was inside it. It's kind of cool looking. But I thought there was all these clips along the side that I had to kind of like press down and then it would pop out. Not the case. You basically have to go along and pry the edges up. And all those little, you can kind of see how I broke some of those. I kind of actually had to break all of them, but it's okay to break this piece. I was just really wary not to break this because I'm sure this is like a $300 part from Mercedes. Okay, so this is the new light, obviously, and this is the LED. It just slides right in there, and then it should just clip in if all goes well there. Yep, clipped in. Perfect. And there you can see those were what I thought you should push down on, and that's not the case. You have to pry this piece kind of back to pull the light out. But that's all in, and now we can stick it up there. Next step of the install was to put the new rubber gasket around, foam, I guess it's just a foam gasket, yeah, foam around the hole. It wasn't clear, so it came with this gasket and had 3M sticky tape on one side of it. And I decided to stick it to the van rather than to the light itself. I've seen some other install videos that have the sticky on both sides. That seems a little better. Maybe I cheaped out on the actual fixture. I'm not sure. It's probably from China. But I decided to stick it to the van itself because that would have better adhesion, and then just clamp it down onto the light, and hopefully there'll be a solid water barrier there. I'm gonna spray it with a hose after I get it all done to make sure it's watertight. And with that installed, I'm gonna call it a wrap on the weekend. Welcome back. So a couple things have been discovered. Number one is that backup camera leaks water. The gasket was not sealed, so cheap backup camera off Amazon from China. Do better with your gasket. So I gotta figure out how to seal that. Probably gonna use some silicone on there. First things first is to figure out this situation with the backup camera, and then also wired it up. I got a monitor in the rearview mirror, so I'm gonna install that today. So I just thought I'd show you what I'm working with here. This is the new backup camera. It has a film on it, so it looks kind of sketchy, but you can kind of see in that right corner where the display is. It's right over here, and that basically will just hook on to the front. I'll take the old backup camera off, or the old rearview mirror off. Either way, I'm not gonna have windows in the back, so I won't really need the rearview mirror, but I just wanted to make it look as stock as possible, so I got this guy. And then, surprisingly old, there's a lot of wiring needed. This goes to the backup camera. This comes off of there. At some point, you got to put power, 12-volt power, both to the backup camera itself and then also to the display. That's what this cable is. So it might be a little bit out, and there's some more stuff over here that I got to figure out. And then I also have to glue the new mount to the windshield itself. So to run the camera line down into the dash, because I got to get 12-volt from down here, and then I'm going to put a little switch down there so I can turn on and off the backup camera more than just when it's in reverse, just because it could be useful other times, I think. Got to take off this trim and then also the headliner, because then I got to run it over to the rear view mirror. It's actually super easy to take the trim off. I was really nervous about breaking something, but you just pop off this little there's a speaker down there. I can show you on, I guess I can't show you on the other side because I can't flip my camera around, but just have this little trim removal tool. You could really use a lot of things for it. Just plastic, so it won't scratch, maybe, I don't know. And then you basically just remove that little speaker and then start from the top, pull it down, pull it out, and that's what it looks like when it's out. And then I'm just gonna run my wire next to that wiring harness and call it a day. The next thing we had to do was take off the actual, what do you call this, sun visor, just so that we have some more access, and the headliner shelf is loose because there's bolts up there. Basically, to do that, there's just a bolt right there and a bolt right there. Pull that off as in addition to these two bolts, and that just pops right off. So this is the wire that comes back from the backup camera. And I need to basically fish it all the way down through here, down into there, And then my kind of control center for everything is going to be under that panel, so I can pop it off easily if anything goes wrong in the future. But basically because I'm not taking the whole headliner off, to get into over here, I have a hanger strung through, and that maybe, I wanted to be able to show you it. I found the hanger. It's right here. So you can kind of see that hanger right there. You can see it moving as I do that. So I'm just gonna hook my wire onto there, pull it through, and then bring it down. Quick update here. I have my main camera wire coming from the back, run down through underneath the dashboard, and that's eventually gonna get run over into this area. And then I have my kind of data cable, I guess, going to the mirror, run back up through over here and down out through here for now. And then once I install that on this guy, once that's dry, I'll put it back through there. But I think I'm actually at the point where this wasn't actually as bad as I thought so far. I haven't actually soldered anything in here, but that I can pop the trim back on and then start putting it all together in here. This is where it's gonna get a little tricky. So see you then. Okay, so I honestly forgot where I left you. I think, I got all the trim back together over here. It's kind of a pain in the ass. There's one screw that I'm still missing here. I can't get it to line up, but I'm calling it good. That's all in, stable, headliners back up. Got my wires coming, and now I'm just trying to take apart this front dash so I can run my wires up through here and down. And then I'll show you, I'm going to actually put, I got caught up there, but I'm going to splice into this, the cigarette outlet 12 volt for the power for both of those, for the backup camera and the display itself. So I soldered all of my 12 volt connections together, so I didn't have to do a ton of crazy stuff. And now I just have this one lead coming off of that, and I kind of zip tied my bundles of cables together of all the connections. I E-taped them all together, electrical taped them all together. Looks kind of funky, but it's actually pretty secure, and I'm just gonna kind of tuck that in behind the dash here and then run this cable down. I had to pull the radio out just so I had access to back here. But yeah, so now I'm just gonna run this down to the cigarette lighter, solder those connections in, and then we're pretty much there. All right, so I think backup camera install is done, except for the water leak. Still haven't addressed that. That's gonna be silicone, I think, and I don't know if I'm gonna get to that today because just not feeling it. Just, I don't know, it seems like a headache and something I don't wanna dive into here. Anyway, backup camera, here we go. All you gotta do is put your key into the ignition, and there you go. That's the backup camera. All right, so just eating a banana after I finished the backup camera for some sustenance. My next project for today is installing basically a gasket along the skirting, the plastic skirting that goes along the side of the van. The gasket's made specifically for this generation of Sprinter by Owl vans, and it's basically because a lot of water sometimes gets in there and then gets inside the van from the kind of mounting bracket holes. So I can kind of show you, but basically the gasket just goes right along here all the way around the van, and that should hopefully solve that problem. I don't know if it really is going to do a whole bunch because I also silicone the inside of the holes, but it was 30 bucks and better safe than sorry, so gonna do that next. And Owl Vans sends you this wheel of trim. And the end looks like this, so it kind of fits in exactly and then hooks on to the back of this plastic piece. And so they say it takes you like 5 minutes through the whole van. It's taken me 5 minutes just to get this far, but I think that once you get it in the beginning, that's the hard part. And then you just kind of work it in, wedging it in there all the way along. You don't do the wheel wells or the front, but just along these edges where there's those clips inside that water could get in. But yeah, I'm just gonna slowly work my way around here and do that. Show you, it's not all that perfect. Again, nothing on the wheel well. That all the way along there. And again, it doesn't, there's some parts that look really nice. It's like a flush mount, but other parts it kind of sticks up a little bit and doesn't look as nice. From farther away though, like you really can barely even tell it's there, and Should make a good impact in terms of keeping things rust proof on the inside. So it's good. Probably took me about 40 minutes just to do one side. We'll do the second side now and see how fast it goes. SD card died there, so that's it for today's video. But let me know what you think. Too much of me talking? Or do you want more of that? Do you want more in-depth stuff? Do you want just some nice little fast forward freeze frame thingamajiggies with some nice music playing instead? Would that be better? That's what's coming next week, just so you know. But yeah, shoot me a subscribe, shoot me a comment, give me a like. I'd appreciate all of it. And I'll see you guys next week. Hey guys, I'm having some crazy hair stuff right now. Your local auto part store. I almost said auto parts store from Boston. I don't know if the lighting's terrible. I don't know what I'm doing. But all right, okay. Can't wait to have a tripod. It's coming.